With Spider-Man being shared between two studios and the multiverse getting ready to hit the big screen, I'm going to share with you guys my top 10 comics I would buy right now before it's too late. What is going on YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and we are back with another top 10 list today. This time, the top 10 amazing Spider-Man books I'd be buying right now before the next Spider-Man movie hits. With the multiverse coming, amazing Spider-Man books, in my opinion, are going to go through the roof. So these are my top 10 I would buy right now before it's too late. Coming in at number 10, guys, is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 252, the first appearance of the black suit in the main title. To me, this was a huge storyline growing up, and I know we've already seen it in a Sony movie, but I don't know how they're going to cross multiverses without having the black suit involved in some way. So to me, this is a huge spec book, and it's only at number 10 on my list. Now, a CGC 9.8 recently sold June of this year for $1,200. In May of this year, a 9.6 sold for $650, and of course a 9.2 recently sold for $275. So to me, this book is only going to go up once we get confirmation of that black suit appearing on Peter Parker. This book is going to go through the roof. At number 9 on my list, guys, is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 31, the first appearance of Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn. Now, I'm specking on this book because Gwen Stacy later goes on to become Spider-Gwen, and to me, she's become such a huge character in Marvel Comics, it's only a matter of time before we see her in an upcoming live-action movie. So for that point, we must go out and purchase this book. The CGC 4.5 recently sold last month for $500. The CGC 5.0 recently sold for $625. So to me, this book is still highly undervalued. I remember when you can go back and buy a 4.5 for about $100. Not anymore, guys. This book is starting to climb, and the more Spider-Man news we get, the more likely it is to climb. So pick this one up while we can. Coming in at number 8, guys, is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 37, the first appearance of Norman Osborn. And with William Dafoe rumored to be reprising his role as the Green Goblin, it's only a matter of time before we see Norman Osborn in the MCU. And to me, this is the book to buy because he is not only a huge villain towards Spider-Man, but he'd later go on to become something else in Marvel Comics. So this is a must-have, and it's number 8 on my list. The CGC 6.0 recently sold this month for $405. A CGC 5.0 also sold this month for $248. So to me, this book is still undervalued. It is a Silver Age, Amazing Spider-Man key, and we should be picking this book up in droves if we could find it. At number 7, guys, on my list is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 41, the first appearance of the Rhino. And if the rumors are true, I'm hearing Paul Giamatti is going to get suited up, come through that multiverse, and take on Tom Holland and the rest of the Spider-Man. So to me, this is a must pick up before that movie comes out. Now, the CGC 4.0 recently sold last month for $480. The CGC 6.0 also sold for $620. Now, to me, this is an early Spider-Man key, which I don't know why is so undervalued. While some of the other major villains like Electro, Mysterio, Craven, all these books have gone crazy, and yet here we have the Rhino, which I know he's kind of like a dumb character, but at the same time, this book hasn't really had that monumental spike. Now, with the news that Paul is coming and he's going to resuit up as the Rhino, I'm betting that this book is about to take off. Hunting his way on our list at number 6 is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 15, the first appearance of Kraven the Hunter. Now, with the news this week that he's actually been cast in his own movie over at Sony, this book has already started to take off. The CGC 3.0 recently sold last month for $1,300. The CGC 4.0 also last month already skyrocketed to $2,000, and I've recently seen some books on eBay 3.0 or less selling for $2,000 as well, with the news that he's been cast. Kraven's been one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man villains, an original member of the Sinister Six, and I'm betting on him showing up in a future Spider-Man movie actually facing Spider-Man going forward down the line. At number 5, guys, is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 20, the first appearance of the Scorpion and Matt Gargan. Matt Gargan has already showed up in the MCU, and it's only a matter of time before he dons the outfit and becomes a Scorpion on screen. And what's exciting about this is we haven't seen the Scorpion yet in any of the Spider-Man movies previously, so to me, this is a book that's still highly undervalued. I just picked up my book about a month ago, 3.0 for $500. I actually did a video on me cracking and pressing that book, so if you guys haven't seen that, I suggest you do check that out. Either way, the CGC 3.0, which is the copy that I got, sold for $500 in May of this year. A CGC 4.0 also sold for $740. So you can see this book kind of creeping up a little bit, but believe me, once we see him in costume or get the rumor that he's going to show up as a Scorpion, this book will double and triple overnight, and that's why it's number 5 on my list. Coming in at number 4, guys, is a book that needs no introduction. It is Amazing Spider-Man number 300, the first full appearance of Venom. Now, with Venom becoming a huge character in the Marvel Comics and now going on to become a huge character in the Sony films, this book has taken off like no other book can. CGC 9.8, let's have a seat, guys, in May of this year, recently sold for $6,800, and I think that's low. A CGC 9.2 in June of this month, only a couple of days old, sold for $1,100. We need to pick up this book as soon as we can before it goes into the stratosphere of not being able to afford a 2.0 copy. Now, being a modern book, there are a lot of copies out there, so I would stick to anywhere from between a 9.2 and a 9.8 if you guys can afford it. Anything under that, with that many copies out there, I try to stay away from. But Venom is not going anywhere. This franchise is not going anywhere. It's only going to grow. And when it does happen, and when we see Spider-Man go up against Venom in the actual movies, guys, this book is going to explode. So don't miss out on this book. Starting the top 3 on my list, guys, is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 14, the first appearance of the Green Goblin. Now, we touched on Norman Osborn earlier. This is his alter ego, the Green Goblin, and he is Spider-Man's arch nemesis. He is responsible for so much great storylines in the Marvel Comics. We have to see him again in the MCU. It would be a travesty not to. So, a CGC 2.0 last month recently sold for $1,800. The CGC 3.0, believe it or not, only sold for $1,854. So this screams to me price correction. We're going to see that 3.0 and the 2.5s kind of jump up above that $1,800 sale because it has to. This book is a must-have if you're a Spider-Man fan, if you're into collecting comics. We're definitely going to see this character appear in the next Spider-Man movie and possibly more movies from here on out. So that's why it made it into my top 3. This is a must-have for any collector. Coming in at number 2, guys, is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 129, the first appearance of the Punisher. Now, I thought we were talking Spider-Man. Why is the Punisher on this list? Well, it's an Amazing Spider-Man book and is one of the most beautiful covers you will ever see. Classic work by John Romita, one of my all-time favorites. Not only have we seen the Punisher in the Netflix series and older movies, but I am waiting to see this character coming in to the MCU and be a part of the Marvel Universe. Now, I'm betting on this happening, and to me, this book is still undervalued. The CGC 5.0 recently sold for $1,975 in May, and also a CGC 7.0 recently sold for only $2,100 in May as well. This also screams price correction, and this book is on fire. I remember when you can get about a 4.0 for about $400 earlier this year, and now this book has gone through the roof, and I think it will continue to go to the roof with the rumors that the Punisher is coming. I just hope that we still see Jon Bernthal as the Punisher, because I really thought he brought that angst that the Punisher needed, that the Punisher feels. So I'm hoping that we get to see him. But either way, this is number 2 on my list, and it is a must-have for anyone looking to spec on these upcoming movies. And rounding out the top 10 at number 1, guys, is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 50, the first appearance of the Kingpin. I do not understand why this book is still undervalued. It has a classic cover, and the Kingpin is one of the all-time greatest Marvel villains. And we haven't seen this character on screen in about 20 plus years since the last Daredevil movie, that awful Ben Affleck movie that they put out there. Vincent D'Onofrio did an amazing job in the Netflix series. I'm not sure if they're going to keep him in that role, but I would love to see him come back and play this character on the big screen. Kingpin is one of the greatest villains of all time, and not only plays in part to Spider-Man lore, but also into Daredevil lore and other parts of Marvel Comics. So to him not to be number 1 on this list, and the book being so undervalued, it really is a travesty. And you could throw on top of that the classic cover by John Romita, all red, Spider-Man No More. We need to own this book. Everybody who doesn't have a copy of this book right now needs to go out and purchase one while we can. The CGC 4.5 last month recently sold for $855. The CGC 5.5 this month in June recently sold for $1,123, which to me is still undervalued considering the beauty of this cover and the major villain that has showed up in this book. So if you guys haven't jumped in this character yet, I suggest you do before he shows up in this or a future Daredevil project. That's it for another top 10 list, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you guys haven't checked out some of my other top 10s, I suggest you do. And of course, drop me a comment down below. Let me know if I missed any books or if any of these should be in a different order. Either way, go ahead, hit this like button so I can get this video out there. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, maybe you'd like to become one. Who knows? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.